Hello. Today, to follow up on dipping pens, fountain pens, which I think everyone should write with because they're sustainable. That's one of the things that I didn't mention about. Well, there goes the cat. Didn't realise she was sitting behind me, Bella the cat. Yes, as I was saying, sustainability is one of the things I'm thinking about in the means of production of writing, and it seems to me that fountain pens are the most sustainable and they're going to write the furthest, creating the least amount of waste. So here we go. Next up, and perhaps to some as archaic and unlikely as dipping pens are fountain pens, although as I write they are still available from those shops that have not yet ceased to be W.H. Smith's. Rest in peace. Refillable fountain pens are the most environmentally sustainable means of writing I know of. If you think that's wrong, correct me. They don't create the endless plastic waste of ballpoints, felt tips, rollerballs, gel pens, disposable fountain pens. If of decent quality to begin with and looked after, they will outlast you unless you write Joyce Carol Oates amounts of words. They're not as easy to use for note-taking in public as a clickable ballpoint because you need two hands to take off the lid and place it on the shaft. This is fussier and slower than getting a notebook out of one pocket with one hand whilst clicking open your ballpoint with the other. That is the quick-on-the-draw way of taking notes. I always carry a notebook and take lots of notes of conversations, of details, of things I've seen. A just-filled fountain pen will write 10 or 15 pages before it runs out. I'm guessing this. Maybe I should do an experiment. There are some YouTube channels that have done experiments with ballpoint pens and gel pens. I'm going to be referring to those mentally, if not in this. You get some, though nothing like all of the liquidity of a dipping pen with a fountain pen. Obviously, if you have a fine nib, it's going to be much more parsimonious with what it puts on the page. You should buy a basic fountain pen, unless you have one hanging around already, with the thickness of nib that suits your handwriting, and also buy a refillable cartridge so that you don't go through a constant plastic stream of disposable cartridges. Keep the cartridges that likely came with the pen in the packaging as an emergency backup. Always carry 2 pens and a pencil. That would be my advice. For most fountain pens, a universal pen ink converter will work. I find those with simple plungers, up and down, better than those with screw systems. Pilot, I use Pilot pens, Pilot's proprietary screw system converters are ridiculously bad. They only fill up about halfway, which is really annoying. It is possible to refill disposable plastic cartridges with a special syringe. You can buy these, but this seems messy and unnecessary if you can just buy a converter. I write in black permanent ink most of the time, though recently I used blue for a novella for a change, and blue ink is a beautiful thing. I've never bought a commercial ink I had to throw away or not use. For Journey into Space, for research purposes, I bought and used iron gall ink from a small cottage supplier. It only worked on a dipping pen, and the pen's nib really did suffer, if not washed directly after each writing session. Iron gall ink seemed to corrode the metal of the nib, but it was really, really beautiful in terms of smell and texture. If used regularly, fountain pens need minimal maintenance. They may sometimes start to clog, in which case washing their nibs in the sink and flushing out the barrel of the refillable cartridge with warm water is all you'll need to do, maybe once a month at most. I've always envied painters the amount of time they are able to spend preparing their means, cleaning brushes, mixing paints, priming canvases. There's little enough craft in writing, little enough maintenance of the means of production. But watching black or blue ink bloom into clear water as you clean a fountain pen is one of the most gorgeous things a writer can witness. Although it is a shame that that particular ink didn't get to form any words on the page. Those are my thoughts on fountain pens and their wonderful sustainability and reliability. Maybe you hate them. Maybe you're wedded to a Bic ballpoint, and we will get to Bic ballpoints fairly soon. Please like, please share, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.